Hey guys, Chris here from Kite Republic. I am here today with Red Bull King of the Air star and one of the smoothest kiters I've ever seen, to be honest. Steven Akkersdijk. Did I get it right?
Akkersdijk. Yeah, you got it pretty much right. You were on point.
Nice. And we are here in Capetown at the Core 2020 dealer meeting, and we are going to check out the Nexus 2. Before we go into the kite itself, Steven, I'd like to know, from your perspective, who is this kite aimed at? Who is the perfect rider for this kite?
So, yeah, he already said it. This is a new Nexus 2, and the Nexus 1 released 2 years ago, and for me, it was the kite, basically. If you are traveling a lot and you love to do many different types of riding, so you like twin tipping, you like wave riding, you like foiling, you want to do all those disciplines, and like me, you have a car full of toys. This is basically your kite to go. For me, I can grab the Nexus with whatever board I want.
Yep.
Let it be a twin tip and go for bigger. Let it be a twin tip and go for old school freestyle. So hooked, I would not recommend it for unhooked, but in general, all hooked riding with this kite is super fun and playful. And I say playful because this kite, it's not a kite that's going to yank you all over the place. It's a very forgiving kite, and therefore I always feel like trying new stuff. Then when we start talking about wave, it also fits in super well on wave, and same for foil. So it's the perfect travel companion.
Perfect. And just before we jump out of that question, you mentioned there, like, for unhooked riding, you wouldn't recommend it. Is that so? If we're talking your average rider on the beach that maybe does the odd Rayleigh or S-bend, or we're not talking double handle passes and needing huge amounts of slack, but comparing this to the similar kites on the market, will it react similarly? Like, are you talking? We wouldn't recommend it for high level freestyle and needing heaps of slack.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yes, of course you can totally unhook on it and do Rayleighs and do S-bends, and especially the bigger sizes, I was also quite happy doing handle passes. But because this kite is meant to drift and it's a wave crossover kite, I really noticed that once I started unhooking the smaller sizes and really wanting to do handle passes, the slack would just not be there. It's too deep in the wind window, and therefore doesn't really give you that slack you're searching for.
Makes a lot of sense. And I think the average rider is not going to unhook a smaller kite. Hey?
It works perfect. It's super fun.
Sweet. And through all the testing the last few days, as you've said, it's been the big boosting stuff, there's been the downwinders, there's been the playful wave stuff, and it's just performed. So very cool. So I think you've already answered this question actually, but who would you recommend away from this kite towards something else? Being so all round, it's a hard question, I guess.
Yeah, being so all round, it's a very hard question, what works with this kite and what doesn't. But in general, I would say if you are a very beginning rider and you just want a kite that's the easiest to jump, or you're often riding in light wind conditions and you just want to have a kite that is pull in and go, so the easiest possible kite, go for the XR. Because the XR is therefore a lot easier, sheet and go, and you're out. If you're unhooking all the time and you're really trying to get your handle passes down, then also this kite is not the one to go for. If you're high performance Red Bull King of the Air rider, you might consider it. I actually took a 10 meter out because it is so forgiving and it's so easy to learn new tricks. But if you want that ultimate slack, yank and performance out of the big air riding, you either take the XR for the height and the hang time, or the GTS for the massive pull you get in the loops. Yeah,
perfect. All right, thank you very much for that. And obviously, kites are completely packed full of different tech and new stuff. What has changed for the Nexus 2? And can you just give us a little bit of a walk through the kite and some of the features that people might not know about so much?
Yeah, so the big difference from Nexus 1 to Nexus 2 is that we actually started playing with the material that we use on the struts. So we use Exotex Dacron on all the leading edges and struts usually because it's a very stiff Dacron. And due to that stiffer Dacron, we can really go down on the diameter of the leading edge. This time we actually chose to go for Exotex Light, which is still a very stiff Dacron, but it's 20 grams lighter per square meter. And that makes it possible to readjust the size of the kite. In this case, we made the wingtips quite a bit wider without disturbing the balance. And those wider wingtips are really going to give you a lot more steering feedback. What I really notice when riding this kite is my power on the bar, my steering.
So your feel and what you're getting back, that feedback side.
Your steering pressure. So if you want to steer, the power slightly increases. So it's very, very easy to feel what this kite is doing. Where the Nexus 1 was a little bit more soft and a little bit more like a wave kite.
Okay.
So for the freestylers, you're really going to enjoy that nice and responsive bar feeling on this kite. Those wider wingtips also make for more of a progressive power or consistent power when you start looping this kite. So let's say you want to go around a section of a wave, you're going to like that consistent power, and it's very easy to know what this kite will deliver power-wise. Also for the freestylers, it got slightly more pull in the loops. And then the drift increased or got better due to that lighter weight Dacron that we started using in the tips. It might not sound like, or in the struts, it might not sound like a lot, losing 20 grams over the other one, but in the end...
Still, we're talking, what, 10-15% at least?
You're talking 10-15%
so it's a good chunk
in the end, which is quite a bit, and you really notice that when flying this kite in the waves.
Perfect. And now for those guys, this is such a broad audience that this kite's aimed at. I was wondering, in terms of the settings on the bridle, can you just give us a really quick run through of who you would suggest sets it where? And I'll actually pick this up as we do it. Hopefully
we can manage to.
There we go. So we've got the bridle changes here. And we'll video this close.
Over here we got the core CIT system. There is 3 points, as you can see, on which you can adjust the bridle. You can really easily adjust it by just taking this little knot out, and then you can take out the line over there. It always comes in the middle setting. All our core kites and core products are designed to fly and feel the same. And we give the option to go more into the wave direction by moving it up for this kite, or move more towards the freestyle direction. So what does this actually change? For instance, if we start moving it down towards the freestyle, the kite will go more in a C shape, which will make the pull in loops more consistent, it will make the power delivery more consistent, and it's going to give a very nice bar feedback. What it will lose is D-power. So not everything, obviously, but let's say we move it all the way up, we're going to gain a lot of D-power. The kite is more on the edge of the wind window. The kite will also open up, so it's more of a sheet and go. So I simply pull in the bar and go, push it out if you're on the wave and you really want to surf that wave. And like that you can really fine-tune your kite. So you can really play around with that. Then on the wingtip we actually have another option as well. And this is massively gonna impact not your steering speed, what a lot of people believe, because it's still attached to the same points, but the amount of bar pressure or the amount of steering pressure you're going to have to put in. So right now you can see it's in the middle, but if we go to the end of the tip, it will provide more of a lighter bar feedback and a lighter steering pressure. But if you're used to having heavy steering pressures or bar pressure, then you really move here to the inside one, and this will make it feel a lot heavier.
Perfect. So lots of trimmings, and for the one kite, again, as it sits in that middle setting, I think we've found most of us have sort of ridden in a lot of conditions there and then played with it after. In the middle setting, I mean, it's awesome. There's such a broad range. So being able to tweak it to exactly what you want, it's something that Core has done incredibly well and opened up an even broader range. Just a very quick one on the trailing edge as well. I noticed Core obviously don't use any Dacron through the trailing edge, still using that Cortex ripstop. Reasoning for that?
So whether we like it or not, Kite canopy, it stretches. So we have a triple ripstop called Cortex, and that's not because we don't want our kites to rip less fast. Obviously that's an added benefit, but the main reasoning for that is that it stretches less fast. And I say less fast because it does actually stretch. Now if you would put, for instance, Dacron in that area, Dacron stretches a lot less. And what you're going to get then is stretch canopy with unstretched Dacron, and that's going to destroy the wind flow that goes over the kite. So what we did is we went for a reinforced area, so there's actually 2 layers of Cortex over here.
Yep.
And with that, in the end, it will keep its shape a lot better.
Perfect. Something that we must absolutely test this year and put on the Christmas list. Steven, thank you very much for talking us through the new Nexus. Guys, if you'd like any more information, hit us up at kiterepublic.com.au or come in and grab a demo. They'll be on the shelves very soon, and yeah, come and try them. Cheers, guys.
Cheers. Oh, it's buzzing a lot.
Your wife's calling you, man.
I'll put it on.
She would like to FaceTime. Shall I answer?